From the News Channel 5 Network, this is OpenLine.
OpenLine. I am Ben Hall. Good show tonight. Believe it or not, tomorrow is the first day of school here in Davidson County. Thousands of kids going back to school in Davidson County. And of course, Davidson County has a new director of schools. We are very happy to have with us Dr. Shawn Joseph. Dr. Joseph, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
A lot going on. You've been a very busy man.
Yeah.
We want to get to know you tonight. Of course, give people a chance to call in. But here we are.
Yes.
Tomorrow is the first day.
It's a big day.
Is this going to be a sleepless night for you, or what are you thinking on the eve of the first day?
Well, I'll get up at 4:30 tomorrow, so I better go to sleep. It'll be a long night. But no, we're excited. You know, we have 87,800 kids walking into our doors tomorrow. You know, it's 1,000 more students than we had last year. So we're just hoping that they have a wonderful day.
Do you feel like we're ready? Do you feel like everything's ready?
Without question, we're ready. I mean, this past week, we've been, crossing our I's and dotting our, crossing our T's and dotting our I's, and just getting around to all the schools, making sure all the little details are paid attention to. And I visited a couple of schools today just to check, and teachers are ready, classrooms looked good, and we're ready to go.
You haven't been here that long. So for parents that are going to take their kids to school tomorrow, for kids who are going to show up, or teachers, yeah. Would there be a difference that would be noticeable, do you think, as a result of your now leadership here tomorrow? Do you think, would there be something tangible that they might go, oh, well, there's new leadership here, this is something that is important to you, that they might pick up on?
Yeah, that's a great question. We launched a new motto and a new logo actually on August 1st, and it's called Exceeding Great Expectations. So if you go to any school's website, or you go to the main district's website, you'll see that, but I want people to feel it. It's one thing to come in and have a new logo up. It's another thing to actually feel a difference. And I spoke to my principals this past Friday, and we talked about, so what does it look like when a school district tries to exceed great expectations? It takes years to change student achievement, but customer service can change immediately. So that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping tomorrow, when parents walk into schools, they'll feel a difference. They'll see someone welcoming them. They'll make sure that their children are clearly in a place where people like kids, and they'll feel the warmth, and they'll feel the intentional focus on customer service, and that is our expectation.
You did 11 listen and learns in the time that you've been here. What did you learn? What did you gain from that? What did you hear, and what did you learn? Yeah,
so what I've learned is that there are thousands of people who are extremely interested in what's happening in our school system. Over these 11 listen and learns, we've seen over 2,000 families and staff members. Some of the things that I've learned is that people feel really good about our high school academies, and they like the opportunities that they're providing. They've talked to me a lot about, they want to see kids with homework, and then how do we ensure that there are rigorous opportunities across the board, that, you shouldn't have to go to a magnet school to make sure your kid has rigorous instruction in their programs. They've talked to me about, middle school. Lots of parents are just apprehensive about the transition years, and what are we doing to make sure that those transitions are good transitions as we work through. I've seen hundreds of dedicated teachers and bus drivers and secretaries who, have talked about how much they love this work and how they want to have a voice in helping us get better. So lots of learnings have happened. We have some folks there in the audience who are capturing all the information, and they're going to provide a report to me with our themes as we get through all of them, and all of that will be fed into our transition work that's happening.
You mentioned magnet schools, and of course they're private schools, and we're surrounded by other counties. How do we compete in Davidson County? How do we compete with surrounding counties, with Williamson County and those places to lift our schools up, or even we have some of the best. Davidson County has some of the best high schools in the entire country. Our magnet schools are some of the best in the country. We also have some that aren't performing so well. How do we lift up what we have?
You know, I'm a believer in paying attention to the details, and we've got to just focus on quality and let people see and feel that quality. I told some people last night at Listen and Learn that I've got to be like the Chef Ramsay, you know, of the school district. Really just relentless on quality. Because when people feel a quality difference, they'll spread the word. I mean, there's nothing better than word of mouth advertising. When people go in and say, "Hey, listen, I'm trying to tell you, I went to that school, and wow, that's all I could say. I saw it, I felt it, my kid loves it." And if we get that message in all 179 schools that we have, and people really feel that difference, we'll be in great shape. I mean, it takes work.
How do you think we do that? Is that through principals, or how does that? How do you get that feel when you walk into that school?
Yeah, I mean, it's a collective responsibility, and it's collective work. I mean, principals have a huge role. Every teacher in that building has a tremendous role in terms of making sure they meet the needs of our children, and that they're responsive to parents. I mean, parents, you know, you have a kindergartner that's about to go to school, right? I mean, you know,
right.
when you walk them into that classroom, you want to know if you've got a question and you call somebody's going to call you back. And you know, you've got specific questions, your child has needs, you want to know somebody's listening and following up. It's one thing to listen, but you show me you're listening by doing something after I told you, you know, my circumstance. I think we've just got to do a good job of paying attention to details, being responsive, and following up.
How would you compare what you know now about Davidson County Metro Nashville schools to where you came from, Prince George's County Public Schools?
Yeah.
What are the differences and similarities?
You know, some of the similarities. So Prince George's County, like Metro Nashville Public Schools, had lots of options for families to choose from, and I think that's a good thing. I think there were a lot of dedicated, committed principals and staff members, you know, wanting the school district to be known for quality. You know, I think we deal with some of the same challenges with, you know, convincing people that there are quality choices in all neighborhoods. I think we dealt with, you know, having to increase academic performance in all of our schools. That, you know, there were some schools that were doing extremely well, but there are a lot of schools that weren't. And, you know, we had to really put plans in place to make sure that students were achieving. I think there was a need to focus on literacy in both districts, both here and in Prince George's County. And, you know, we spent a lot of time really working to build teachers' capacity, work with families, and getting children excited about reading. You know, I think if there's anything that we can do, and if there's anything I want to kind of lay down, if I had one goal for the school system, it'd be we make sure every child is a strong reader. I mean, that's foundational. And there's no excuse, and there should be no exception for children coming to us and not learning to read.
Was the parental involvement, that's so critical to a school.
Yeah.
How would you characterize the parental involvement that you had there and the parental involvement that you've seen thus far here?
I've not seen parental involvement as engaged as I've seen here. Like I said, I've engaged thousands of families here at these Listen and Learn sessions. It's been overwhelmingly positive and unbelievable. So I'm beyond excited about what's in store in the future.
All right. We have several calls already. We'll go ahead and take a call, then we'll take a break. Let's go to Eric. Hello, Eric.
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Yes, my question has to do with the up-and-coming routes for the school year. A lot of those routes have been redone from the ground up, and there's a lot of inconsistencies. And I'm just wondering what will be done in the next couple of days to help ease that transition in to the beginning of the school year.
Are you talking about bus routes?
Yeah, school bus routes.
Okay, that's a very logistical question.
Yes, sir. That's a great question. You know, we have over 700 buses on the road tomorrow. I'm actually, like I said, at 5 o'clock, I'll be there giving the bus drivers their pep rally and giving them some donuts, saying, you know, let's make this a great day. If you have a problem with your bus route specifically, I would say contact the transportation office, or you can call us at 615-259-INFO, and they'll get that information directly to you. But you should have received information about your bus route today. But if not, please call in and they'll make sure we get that to you.
Okay, all right, and we'll put that number up as the night goes on. Is that specifically for transportation, or is that more of a customer service?
That's a customer service, but the line, they're ready for tomorrow, because we know, the first few days we have to work out the bus routes if there are any issues there. But we have, the good news is every bus route has a driver this year, and they're going to be stationed out at 4:30 in the morning, ready to go. To pick students up. And
because that was an issue last year, just hiring a number of, it was tough to find.
Yes. So we, the Board of Education, to their credit, really, they raised salaries, and we had a better strategy to make sure we get good bus drivers ready to go. And I guess about 2 weeks ago, I spoke to all the bus drivers, and they're pumped. They're ready. They're ready to show that we can deliver and make sure every child has a safe bus ride in and back home to school.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back, talk about some of the major issues that Dr. Joseph will have to deal with. Charter schools, all of that stuff. And if you want to call, there's the number, 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-7587. We'll take a break. Be back right after this.